I know y'all not used to seeing me probably this late going live, but I'm doing it because I tried to do it earlier, and for whatever reason, I kept getting knocked off my live. And apparently maybe I just had a message today that I could not get across. So here I am, going on 8 o'clock here, 9 o'clock there. But I wanted to actually get on because I tried to go live earlier from off of my page, my YouTube page, which I want y'all to subscribe. It is Trust the Process Bold Blogging, but I have learned that in order for me to have my name as Trust the Process and you'll be able to find me, I have to get 100 subscribers. So I'm gonna need y'all to go subscribe and help a sister out. But here I am. I decided that I was going to get back on. I am at home, almost done with my day. I just got one more task, which that's why I got to get on here, and I have to talk about my topic. If somebody want to chime in this conversation on this evening, do so. But I am coming in, and I'm coming, and I'm knocking at some doors, and it may be uncomfortable. I don't care. It is what it is. And here we go. So I want you all to know, in the process of growing, evolving, and freeing yourself out of certain situations, you cannot be afraid to expose the people that has caused hurt, the people that has caused pain, the people that has caused heartache. The only thing you can do is forgive them and move forward. I don't think we realize as a whole sometime. Hey, everybody that's coming on. I'm usually doing this in the morning, so I got to get used to this evening thing, but I'm not going to be on doing this evening thing for long. I'm only going to do it temporary. But I wanted to have this conversation because I just feel it comes to a point sometime in life to where we are at a standstill, and we're at a standstill because I feel like we harbor onto things that we have not become self-aware of. So today I wanted to pose the question, well, not even the question, I just actually wanted to talk about when freeing yourself and being unapologetic for exposing the people that has caused you hurt, that has caused you pain, that has caused you turmoil, and learning how in that process to just forgive them. And in forgiving, you learn that you will also free yourself. So I just wanted to touch bases and talk about it only because this has been something that I have had to do in the process of growing, and this is where I am at. I only hey Toya, I only discuss or make topics of things that have kind of hit home, or that has kind of been an experience for me. So this is just me giving my opinion. Hey Amy. But this is just me giving my opinion, and just having a conversation, and maybe this will touch someone, where they can realize, you can't give people control over your destiny. Sometimes you have to free yourself. And in freeing yourself, sometimes people are exposed. And it's not to do it purposely, but it's to do it because you have to do some things for you to move forward. And that's okay. I'm learning that a lot of things with people have really taken place and really residue has set in as a child, like as a youth. And a lot of times we don't understand when we carry certain burdens or we carry things that are from childhood, those burdens, those things, they grow with us. So they grow into adulthood, and that very thing becomes an adult. And we harbor it. We let it sit within. We let it take control over our future. And a lot of times when we release that toxin, when we release those certain things, when we say, you know what? This no longer is my fault. I am not the person that did cause and effect. This was done to me. Now, I'm not saying go around and be a victim and just say, you know what, all this was done to me. But you have to understand from the foundation of this earth, when you were planted into your mother's womb, you already had a calling. You already had a purpose. You already had certain things set out for you to do. You already had an assignment. And just in knowing that you had an assignment and you had free will to do certain things, that meant that certain things will try to come and sift you as weak. That means that certain things was going to try and attach itself to you. And you just have to know that it's okay to release yourself from the things that have hurt you in your past. I was at a point in my life to where I had an issue. I had an issue with my father. God rest his soul. Being the youngest child and at a transition to where when my mother and my father was together and when I was conceived and I came about, they were transitioning to exit, to leave the relationship, to not be together anymore. And so in that, to a certain degree, when being in my mother's womb and her making the decision, I don't want this anymore, a part of my father was angry, was upset, and just chose, you know, to a certain degree to have resentment. And it wasn't that it was so much resentment against me, but it was the situation. And at the end of the day, being in my mother womb and being a part of that situation, it allowed me to have some attachment to it. So when I was brought into the world, it was never just that wholehearted connection there. Because in the process of my mother carrying me in the womb, it was dysfunction. You know, it was them separated. And that manifested also when I came into this world. And not to say me and my father, we had a bad relationship or anything like that. But it was just certain things, because out of all my father children, I got a lot of my father gifts and his talents and so forth like that. And me, I always say that God has a sense of humor, because even what the enemy had meant for evil, you know, God had a sense of humor, and he showed me, regardless to what this may look like, this is what it is. So I was a product truly of my father. My father could sing. My father was very talented in music, and that was one of the things that was passed along to me. However, the rejection was also passed along, and for many years, I just felt rejected from my father. Like all my siblings, I just felt like, oh, they had a relationship with him. But every time when it came to me, him and I, we always seemed to clash. And it was something that I never understood until my father got sick. And I made a decision. Do I go off of what I felt he always treated me differently? Do I treat him? Is this my time where I can pay him back for the feelings that he gave me? Or do I rise above in what my mother had installed in me as a child, and to, be respectful and to understand, regardless to whatever may have taken place, that was my father, and I chose to go with what my mother implanted in me, and I took care of my father. Me and my sister and my siblings, even in his death, we were there for him. But I say that because when he passed away, I finally was able, even though he wasn't able to respond, he wasn't able to have any type of rebuttal or anything to say to me, but I freed myself of that situation because I finally said, you know what? I forgive you. Maybe you wasn't what I needed you to be, but maybe you were what you felt like you had to offer. And so a lot of times when things come into our life, when things happen to us, we have to understand we can't always just say, oh, woe is me. But we have to really honestly look. It's deeper. It's deeper. And if I would have chose to take that all the way into adulthood, then you know what? I would have had the resentment towards me, and I really would have had a bad attitude and not being able to receive when a man came into my life to be a support, to be a helpmate. And I had to free myself from that situation, and I had to expose the fact that, you know what? My daddy, he wasn't always there for me. He wasn't there when I needed him to be at certain times in my life. But at the same time, I forgive you because maybe you didn't know how to be there. Maybe you didn't know what to do to be there. So when I began to free myself from the situation, then I began to take thought off. I began to look at things differently, and I began to accept what was, and I wanted to change what my intake of it was, and I wanted to change it. It's a lot of us that is harboring things that have taken place that has interrupted our destiny from childhood. And whatever point in your life that something has affected you, go back to that place, whoever that person was, whatever that thing was, and free yourself from it. Free yourself from it and say, from this point on, I choose to go on. I choose to be happy. I choose to live life. I choose to be free from everything that has hindered me or has made me think otherwise, and release it. And when you begin to release certain things, you're going to begin to free yourself. And when you begin to free yourself, it's going to allow you to think on a whole different level. So many people used to look at me like when I was in junior high and so forth like that and be like, man, you mean, you look mean, your demeanor and this. And that's because I was in the inside. Now, when you talk to me, you got a whole different side and be like, dang, you cool. Like, woo, 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 woo. But it was the inside that was eating at the outside of me. And so my inside wasn't always pretty because I didn't always feel like that. My inside did not always smile because I didn't feel like smiling. I was angry. Even from some other things that happened, I was angry. But you know what? I have chosen to live this life and live it more abundantly. And I've chose to live it being free of certain things that have held me captive, that have held me down, and that have held me back. And a lot of people look and be like, man, you so positive now. I ain't always been. But you know what? I'm a work in process, and I'm learning to identify. I'm learning to identify things that have really just come and really has choosing to try to gnaw at me. I'm learning to look at things and take every lesson or everything that has tried to turn me away from my destiny, and I'm learning to use those things as tools. At some point in your life, you're going to have to forgive. At some point in your life, you're going to have to release. At some point in your life, you're going to have to let it go. If you're in search of why I'm not elevating, or you're in search of why I can't get a relationship and it just be, what I need it to be, sometimes without even knowing, we are allowing stuff to linger. I choose to not let things linger anymore. I choose to accept that I will be happy, I will be free of worry, and that I will forgive. I will forgive the people that have hurt me, the people that have let me down, the people that have turned their back on me, the people that have even physically hurt me, the people that have physically violated me. I choose to forgive. And that is one of the most powerfulest things that you could ever do in this life, is learn to forgive and free yourself. So I had to tap in with y'all. And I just wanted to actually that was my thing for this morning. That was my discussion. That was my whole get up. Today I was listening, and I've been being in tune with motivational speakers and wanting to get more involved in books and learning really what I am choosing to walk into. And a part of that, I have never been the type that have really just exposed myself. But I just feel like doing that is going to help someone. And I tell you, every day from my post has been confirmation that I'm on the right track. And I am going to continue to uplift. I'm going to continue to tell my story. I'm going to continue to talk until my season is up. So, you guys have an awesome night. Hopefully, I will be able to be on my YouTube channel tomorrow. But you guys can find me on my YouTube channel. You can go under Tebony Washington, my government name, until I'm able to actually be typed in as Trust the Process Bold Blogging. But I will connect with you all tomorrow. And I just want you, as the night is kind of winding down, I just want you to reflect off this message, conversation, whatever you want to take it in as. I want you to just try to take yourself back to where freeing yourself will help your process. And in that, move in it, whatever it is that you are looking to free yourself from, whatever it is that you are looking to walk into. Walk into it with a clear conscience. Walk into it with a open mind, and walk into it trusting your process. I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, and I really thank you guys for really just taking out the time to really just rock out with me. The response is amazing. The support is definitely amazing. It's actually through the roof. And I am just grateful. I'm grateful to be from the city of Pontiac. I'm grateful for my journey. I'm grateful for the hurt, the affliction, the pain. I am grateful for the tears. I am grateful for the hard times. I am grateful for the good days. And I'm grateful for the bad days, because you know what? To each day that I wake up with life, I express gratitude and I am grateful. So I am tuning out. I want y'all to go subscribe to my page, Trust the Process Bold Blogging, but you got to type in my government name, Tebony Washington, to find me. And I'll put the link up on my page. But as always, thank you all. I appreciate you, and always remember to trust your process.